Good morning, all of you. Hello, are you there?
Good morning, sir.
Hello,
Good morning,
are you
sir.
able to listen me?
Good morning, sir.
Sir. Good morning.
Hello, I am not able to listen someone. So can you speak again? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Abras. Now I am able to listen. Now, are you getting me? Are you able to listen me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chalo, thank you. Now, uh, let's start. We already started, right? So those who join late can see video. Fine. Today we'll discuss about 8086 interrupt. Able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Wait a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Thing is now first question is what is interrupt? So what is interrupt? Can you tell me? Anyone? So in microprocessor, if your microprocessor is performing some task and in between some other hardware or software requires some services, that is interrupt. Suppose you are watching a movie, right? And suppose your mom knock the door and you go and discuss with your mom, come back and watch your movie again. Then in this case, your mom is your interrupt, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens when suppose if you want to connect a keyboard and like if you want to take something from keyboard, then key is pressed on keyboard, then that will generate the interrupt, and your processor will get to know that keyboard has need to do something with me. So instead of doing normal processing, your processor goes to keyboard, perform particular task, come back, right? Yes. So
Yes.
everything connected with your microprocessor is normally generating interrupt. Fine. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now why
Yes.
interrupt? Why it is needed? The reason is microprocessor can't continuously ask each and every hardware to do like to serve them. Like I microprocessor can't go to keyboard every time and check key is pressed or not, key is pressed or not. Instead of that, once key is pressed, interrupt will get generated. It will serve the keyboard and will come back. Get it? That's why interrupt is needed. Fine, because with your microprocessor there may be multiple hardware devices or software attached. Get it? Hello. So whatever
Yes, sir.
part require the service can generate the interrupt to your microprocessor, and microprocessor will handle that interrupt. Fine. Hello.
Yes, sir.
This much stuff is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Please speak
Yes.
loudly. I am not able to hear you people. Wait a minute. Can you speak loudly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so if this is my normal program, this is my interrupt. INT is the interrupt instruction. N is my interrupt number, and this is my normal program. So what happens when the interrupt generated? When interrupt generated, your program stop here. It will go here. It will run the ISR. Okay. Now what is ISR? Interrupt service routine. So it will run this program. This is again a program, and when this program ends, your processor come back on the next line when interrupt get generated. This is what your like processor do every time when interrupt generated, right? Get it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are having total 256 interrupt in 8086. Okay, and that numbers are from 0 to 255. So these many interrupts are available in 8086. So whenever interrupts get generated, what you are supposed to do is you need to once the instruction find that is an interrupt, you need to go to the ISR related related to your interrupt, execute the code for that interrupt, come back. Now, why this coding is needed? Different interrupts can work differently. Suppose it is a interrupt from keyboard, I need to read that particular key. That is my work. If it is a from cursor, I need to handle the cursor events, right? So according to the interrupt, you need to run different code. So for different interrupt, you are having different ISR available, interrupt service routine. Get it? This much stuff is clear? Hello.
last वाળું પાછું સમજાવો.
You are having total 256 different interrupt in 8086. Fine. So you like different interrupt can have different functionalities. Suppose I am having interrupt 21H4C00, then it will what it will do? It will stop my program, right? So the code of that interrupt 21H with 4C00H, that ISR is different. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Same way, if I need to read something from keyboard, in that case, I need to read the key. So that interrupt work is different. So ISR for different interrupt is different. So for 256 different interrupts, I am having 256 different ISR, interrupt service routine. Clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is what I need to and like teach you. Now what happens, as you can see here, this is again a change of flow, as we have already studied in our jump instruction and in procedure. What we have studied, when change of flow is there, what happens? This is your normal program that you are executing. This is my normal program, main program, right? Now when interrupt comes, you need to change the flow from here to here. So you need to change the value of what? Can you answer me? Hello. If you want to change the flow of your program, what you need to change? Hello. Can anyone answer me? Are you there? Hello. Hello.
IP.
Yes. Why people are not responding? I don't get it. So once you want to change the flow of your program, you need to change your IP, instruction pointer. Why? Because your microprocessor is blank. What it do is it simply follow the IP. When like on whatever position my IP is pointing, I need to go and execute that next instruction. This is what your processor knows. Get it? Yes? Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you there? First of all, respond me, otherwise we'll stop teaching you. Why you people are not responding? I don't get it. Abhishek, make your mic unmute and keep responding, so at least I get to know that you are there. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we want to change the flow of our program, we need to change our IP. So here also, for our 256 different interrupts, we are having 256 different interrupt service routine, right? 256 small programs available which do particular task for particular interrupt. So every time when interrupts generated, we need to change the flow of our main program and we need to jump to our ISR, respective ISR. Get it? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So every time we need to change the instruction pointer value of our main program and we need to jump to ISR. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So every time when interrupt generated, what your processor do? Your processor will fetch the value of ISR and store it into IP. So your IP will get updated. Fine.
Yes, sir.
But every time when these return instructions come, we need to come back to our original program. Yes.
Yes, sir.
But if you want to come to your original program, you require the IP where you want to come back. Fine. So
Yes, sir.
if this is my program, this is my instruction int20 suppose, and okay, when my processor is executing this line, at that point of time my IP will be pointing here. Yes. So
Yes.
I need to store this IP somewhere, and normally where it is stored, it will be stored in stack.
Memory address.
Stack compulsory. Why stack? Because stack is following last in first out concept. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So simply you need to push something into the stack, you need to pop out something from the stack and you will get your address back. So what happens? Suppose this is stack pointer. Currently it is pointing here, XX is stored. Okay. So when I get this int21H, what my, suppose the value of IP is currently YY. So what my processor do? Store, like decrement the value of SP by 1, SP minus 1, store the YY here, go to ISR, execute the ISR. When RET instruction come, it simply fetch the top value. Sorry, top value. So YY will get fetched and automatically it will come here. Get it? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why stack is used? Let me explain you again. Suppose this is my program, this is interrupt, again my program. So again it will go to ISR. This is my program, again interrupt generated. This is program. So again it will go. So suppose this is the case, right? So in this case, what happens? I need to store multiple times IP value. So when it is here, suppose this is XX. So XX will be stored. Sorry. So XX will be stored. Suppose this is YY. So YY will be stored. When I go here, suppose ZZ. So ZZ will be stored. When I finish this RET, simply it will pop the value. So what will get popped? On stack, always top value will get popped, right?
Yes, sir.
So ZZ will get pop up. I will come here, finish it. When RET comes, simply it will pop up again. What it will get pop up? Y. So I will come here, finish my program. Now only XX remains. So I will come here and my program will get finished. That's why stack is used because of the concept of LIFO. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. This much
Yes,
stuff
sir.
is clear. So again, for
Yes,
the
sir.
revision purpose, interrupt generated, right? There are 256 different interrupts available. Whenever interrupt gets generated, you are performing first task. What is your first task? Storing the value of IP, where in stack. And second task that you need to do is fetch the value of ISR, where you want to jump. Once you get that value, jump on ISR. Once RET instruction is there in ISR, you come back to the your main program. This is what you are supposed to do. Fine, this much thing is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so there is a saying in 8086 that when you are executing your ISR, don't mess with stack. Why? You can't mess with stack. You can use stack, but you need to use it properly. Why? Because if this is my stack, okay, this is my return address. Suppose that return address is y. So this is my SP. Initially, suppose here A is stored, then SP minus 1. Now stack is always go in reverse order. Keep in mind. So SP minus 1, SP minus 2, SP minus this. This is stack pointer. So here, when interrupt generated, YY will get stored. Fine. You come here. Done.
Yes,
You
sir.
you execute this line. Here, suppose you are having a push instruction. So you are using your stack and you are pushing something. Suppose AB. So AB will get pushed. Right. Here again, there is one instruction called push PQ. So PQ will get pushed in stack. So PQ. Fine. So when return statement comes, what it do? It simply pop up the last value. So what will get pop up?
PQ.
PQ. And actually, what you want to pop up?
YY.
Yes, you need to come to YY, not on PQ. So you will get wrong answers. So one thing is very clear: when you are using interrupt service routine, make sure that number of push operation is equal to number of pop operation. Then only it will work. Otherwise, it will create issue. Get it? So suppose here I am having a pop operation. Here again I am having a pop operation. Then these two will go out. So my top will be YY, and on return I can come back to YY. Get it?
Yes, sir.
So question can come that number of push operation during like during your ISR should be equal to number of pop operation. Why? Because otherwise you will not get the perfect address. Clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait a minute. Huh? Just be there. I will be joining you soon. On or before you look on fees, on or before. हाँ હું લખ્યા વાહ લખી કાઢજે વાઇટ પેજમાં બરાબર और B4 અહીંયા જીતેન્દ્ર નાસીવાલા પ્રોગ્રામ કોઓર્ડિનેટર બરાબર તો ડાયરેક્ટર કોમા BMID બરાબર નીચેની લાઈનમાં લખવાનું બરાબર અહીંયા સબ્જેક્ટમાં રિક્વેસ્ટ for giving time to pay પછી અહીંયા ઓનર વીપ લખી દેજો અહીંયા about same on or before exact date લખી દેવાનું કઈ તારીખ so do request આટલું કરી લાખ નવા એપ્લિકેશન લખી દેવાનું પેલા માટે પાણી મળી જશે નામ છે એડમિન મેડમ પાસે લઈ કાઢ ભાઈ સર Okay, so get it. Number of push operation must be equal to pop operation. This is clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now one question. Suppose this is my stack. Those who are intelligent can answer. Now it is not that easy question, but still. This is my stack. This is my stack pointer. This is SP minus 1, SP minus 2. This is how it will get stored, right? SP minus 3 and SP minus 4. Suppose currently here AA is there. Now my IP is my offset normally, right? This CS is my code segment. This is my segment register. This is my offset value. This is 16-bit. This is 16-bit. CS value, whatever it is, put hardwired 0 and add IP in it. You will get physical address of 20-bit. This is our normal concept. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is quite old and we have repeated so many times, but still. So now what I want to ask you is, suppose IP value is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So can you tell me at which location? Now you know that all the position, like all the memory location in 8086 is of 8-bit, right? Yes. So in one box I can store only 8-bit data. Fine.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me where 1, 2 is stored and when 3, 5 is stored? At which location 1, 2 is stored and which location 34 is stored? These are the 4 locations we are having. So can anyone tell me? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me? Hello? Anyone can unmute themselves and answer me. Now, there is a golden rule in 8086 microprocessor. Okay, what is the golden rule? Lower byte stored on lower address, higher byte stored on higher address. Keep in mind, in 8086 and in Intel architecture, everywhere this is the concept that we are following. Lower bit stored at lower address, higher bit stored at higher address. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In 1, 2, 3, 4, which one is lower bit and which one is higher bit?
Lower
Hello?
3, 4. And
3, 4
higher,
is our lower bit and 1, 2 is our
higher bit.
higher bit. Why? Because if I put 1 in 34, it will be 35. So it will not make much difference. Higher bit means if I do 12 to 13, it will make a difference of 100, right? More than that. So these bits are called higher bits. These bits are called lower bits. Fine? Okay.
Yes.
This is clear? Now in stack, can you tell me which address is lower and which address is bigger? SP minus 1 is bigger or SP minus 2 is bigger?
SP lower, SP minus 1 higher.
Exactly. Yeah. Minus 1 is bigger and minus 2 is lower, right? Suppose I am having a value 100, 100 minus 1 and 100 minus 2. This is 99, this is 1998. So this one is lower, this one is bigger. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this one is bigger, this one is smaller. So this one is lower, this one is higher. Here lower bit is 34. So 34 is stored here, 1, 2 is stored here. Clear? So if I push my IP here, it will be stored like this. Higher bytes goes in higher field, lower byte goes in lower field. Address. Complete?
Yes, sir.
This much stuff is clear. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is quite easy. Now, next question. Okay, now what about now here? What we are assuming, if this is my normal program, this is my INT interrupt, this is my normal program, so it will jump here. ISR is get executed interrupt service routine. When RET instruction is there, will come back. Fine. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Problem is, you know already that concept of segment. Fine. So if it is in the if it is in the same segment, I just need to change my instruction pointer. Fine. But your one segment is of 64 kilobyte. Fine. So it is always possible that your ISR, because we are having total how many ISR? 256 different ISR. So it may be possible that it is not in the same segment. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Even there are higher chances that it may be in a different segment. Fine. Yes.
Yes,
Hello. So in that case, only changing IP will not help me. I need to change my segment also, right?
Yes, sir.
ISR is also a code only. It is a routine only, so it is also in a code segment only. Fine, but that code segment will be at different location. Fine. So I need to change the value of my CS also. Samajh padi? Get it?
Yes, sir.
Normally you are having 256 different what ISR available, interrupt service routine. So it may be stored anywhere in the 1 MB of memory available in 8086. Why 1 MB memory? 2 raised to 20. 20 is my address bus, right? So that's why 1 MB memory is there in 8086. So it will be stored somewhere in 1 MB. So it is possible that my code segment get changed, right? So what happens now if this is my normal program, this is my interrupt, this is my normal program, I need to jump to my ISR, I need to finish my ISR, end is here, I need to come back to my main program. So what I need to do first, I need to store my not only IP, I need to store my IP as well as CS, code
Yes.
segment value also. And when I need to jump, I need to fetch not only IP, I need to fetch new CS as well as IP. I will come here, finish my program. I will fetch my CS and IP and I will come back here in my main program. Get it?
Yes, sir.
So I am not saying something new. What I'm saying is when you need to jump to your ISR, you need to not only store IP, you need to store IP as well as CS, code segment value. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, same concept. What is stored first in my stack? If this is my SP, SP minus 1, SP minus 2, SP minus 3, and SP minus 4. So if suppose A is already stored here, where IP is stored and where CS is stored, same concept always. Higher byte stored at higher location, lower byte stored at lower location. IP is lower, CS is higher. So lower byte will store at lower location, higher byte will store first. So CS will store first, IP is stored later. Done?
Yes, sir.
And here also, higher byte will store first, lower byte store first, higher byte store first, lower byte, because higher address goes to higher byte, lower address goes to lower byte. This is how your stack will look like. And when it comes back, it will pop it out. Fine?
Yes, sir.
ઓકે હવે તમને લોકોને કોઈ સવાલ નથી આટલું સમજ્યા પછી કેન યુ આસ્ક મી સમ ક્વેશ્ચન્સ ફ્રોમ યોર એન્ડ ઇટ ઇઝ ક્લિયર વોટ હેપન્સ વેન ઇન્ટરપ્ટ જનરેટેડ
Yes, sir.
યસ all of you done hello hello now my question
Yes.
to all हाँ बोलो 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 हाँ hello
No doubt yet, sir.
no doubt but I
સર
have one
એક
doubt
ઇન્ટરપ્ટમાં આપણે સમજ્યા પણ હવે એ ઇન્ટરપ્ટના ઉપર બીજો આવે તો કેમ કે આ તો બહુ કોમ્પ્લેક્સ વસ્તુ છે
શું કે પાછું પાછું
ઇન્ટરપ્ટ આવ્યો પણ એના ઉપર પાછો બીજો ઇન્ટરપ્ટ આવ્યો તો પાછું અઘરું નહીં પડી જાય એમ
તો પડે ને સ્ટેકમાં સ્ટોર કર્યા જ કરવું પડે એટલી વાર સપોઝ 3 આવે તો 3 ને સ્ટોર કરે એમ It will remain continue.
હા
But
સર
interrupt માં બી છે ને બે આવે. One is non-maskable and one is maskable. What that mean? The maskable interrupt can be masked, so you can avoid it till you finish one first interrupt. And some interrupts are non-maskable, which are having higher priority. So in that case, if it is a non-maskable, you compulsorily need to go and handle it. Get it? So suppose if I doing some XYZ work like this, okay, here interrupt generated. Okay, now if it is maskable, then I mask it, finish this work, and then I will go to here, this interrupt. This will okay. But if it is non-maskable, I need to stop my working, handle the interrupt, then I can finish my previous work. Fine?
યસ સર
So
Yes, sir.
this is always there. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do one task and then I will come back. Before 112. હાલમાં તો એવું છે પછી નક્કી નહીં કઈ રીતે પ્રમાણે બરોબર મેં કીધું તેમ બધા બે ચેક એડવાન્સમાં પકડવા હા ગીટ વાળા ટ્યુશન મળી જાય. Okay, so this is clear. Now my doubt, you people answer me. How will I change CS colon IP? Okay, can you answer me? Now from this it is clear that I need to jump to ISR. Fine. Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here if interrupt generated, I need to jump to ISR. Fine.
Yes, sir.
તો મને ISR નું એડ્રેસ ખબર હોય તો I can jump to ISR. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I need to have the value of CS and IP for this particular ISR. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how will I get the value of CS and IP of that particular ISR? Can you tell me? No idea. Hello.
સર CS અને IP ને સ્ટેકમાં સ્ટોર કરવાનું ને
એ તારો કરંટ પ્રોગ્રામ જે ચાલતો હોય whatever is your current program, for that current program value you are storing CS and IP, right?
ઓકે
In
સર
stacks. But how will I get to know that I need to jump on this location to execute this particular interrupt? Suppose keyboard interrupts location is different, suppose others interrupt location is different, then how can I know that I need to jump on this location in my memory? For my ISR, interrupt service routine, how will I get the value of CS and IP? So why I'm asking you this question, this should be come from your end, not from my end. Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you there? All of you are? This is
Yes.
the last topic for today's session. I'm not gonna cover much stuff, so just concentrate, right? So there is a concept called, not concept actually. There is a table, sorry, called IVT, interrupt vector table. Okay, in your 8086, this table is called IVT table. Okay, now the location of this IVT table is fixed. It is stored on location 00000H to some locations, right? Now what is the size of this IVT? 1 kilobyte is the size of this IVT. Okay, interrupt vector table. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what IVT stores? IVT stores the address of ISR. Keep in mind, it is not storing ISR. It will store the address of ISR. Get it?
Yes, sir.
What that mean? I am having how many ISR available? 256. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I am having total 256 interrupts. So 0 to 255. So for each interrupt, there is an ISR, right? So for each interrupt, I am having address of that particular ISR, and that is stored in table called IVT. IVT will vector me to tell me like where that ISR is stored. That's why it is vector table, right? Get it? It will give you the idea where that ISR is stored. So in this table, address is stored of each and every interrupt service routine. Get it? Hello. This much thing is clear. Now IVT is of 1 KB. Why? Because I am having 256 interrupts. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now for each interrupt, if you need an address, okay, what you need to store? You need to store CS and IP of each ISR. Fine.
Yes, sir.
CS is of 16-bit. Fine.
Yes, sir.
IP is again of 16-bit. Fine.
Yes, sir.
This required 2 location. This required 2 memory location. Total it requires 4 memory location. Fine, because we can store only 8-bit. This is clear.
Yes, sir.
That means if this is my IVT, okay, if this is my location 00000 1 2 3, so till this in this 4 location what is stored? CS colon IP of interrupt 0. समझ पड़ी? Now next 4 location is 4 5 6 and 7. Here CS and IP will be stored of what? Interrupt 1. Get it?
Yes, sir.
So for 1 interrupt, I require 4 memory location. So for 256 interrupt, how many memory locations required? 256 into 4, and that is 1 KB. That's why it is 1 kilobyte memory required by IVT table. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now again the same question. Suppose this is my IVT table. Okay. This is my interrupt, suppose N. Okay. So where my CS is stored and where my IP is stored, can you tell me? This is location, suppose 00000 2 3. Where my CS is stored and where my IP is stored? Hello. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Again, the same concept. Lower bytes stored on lower address, higher bytes stored on higher address. LP is lower, so it will store on lower address. So IPL, IPH, CSL, CSH. This is how your data is stored in your IVT. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how your full. So what happens every time now? Precisely. Now suppose interrupt number 21 is generated. One more thing. If interrupt 0 is there, it will be stored here. 0, 1, 2, and 3. If interrupt 1 is there, it will be stored on 4, 5, 6, and 7. If interrupt 2 is there, it will be stored on 8, 9, 10, and 11. If interrupt number 3 is there, it will be stored on location 12, 13, 14, and 15. So as you can see, if my interrupt number is n, where it will be stored? Into 4 on this location, always. 0 into 4, 0, 1 into 4, 4, 1 into 2 into 4, 8, and 3 into 4, 12. Get it?
Yes, sir.
So if
Yes.
I want to know that where is in IVT table, because IVT table itself is of 1 KB. Lucky 1 KB can every time search thigh 9. So what I need to do is whatever is my interrupt number, simply multiply that number with
Into 4.
4 and you will get the location of your IVT table where your data is stored. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So finally, this is the end of today's session. Again, just for the sake of revision, this is my main program. This is my INT and this is my main program ended here. So what your processor do when INT and comes, Okay, at that time here my IP will be there. So what happens if this is my stack? What my processor do? It will store CS colon IP right in my stack. So IP will be stored here, here, CS will be stored here, here. Fine, and it will go to the memory. And what it will search in memory? IVT, where it will jump in IVT and into 4. So if this is my IVT table, if this is my n into 4, this is n into 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. It will fetch this value. Okay. So what it will get? CS colon IP, new CS colon IP. What will be stored here? ISR for interrupt n. It will execute this interrupt n. When it find RET, it will pop this value CS, CS, IP. Put it in CS, IP again. Come back here, execute your main program, and it will get over. Done?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Anyone is having any doubt? Hello? Any of you are having any doubt? No?
No doubt.
Okay, chalo. Thank you. This is it for today's session. Fine. We'll see more tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Fine.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, we'll share this video again in group. I request all of you to go through this video so that you can get it properly. Done?
સર આની ક્વેશ્ચન બેંક છે કે
Question bank તો હું તમને લખીને આપા ને સવાલ.
હા નહીં સર એટલે પેલું સ્ટુડન્ટ કોર્નરમાં જોઉં પણ એમાં સેમેસ્ટરમાં કોઈ બી સબ્જેક્ટનો છે જ નહીં ક્વેશ્ચન બેંક એમ.
ને આની મારી પાસે છે, but it is useless. Like every time when I teach, I need to generate new, like as you have seen in quiz. Whatever I cover, I will ask you question based on that, right?
હા સર.
એટલે હું બી છે ને દર વખતે વાંચીને શીખું. Like we have used that videos, right? Bharat Acharya. So I have gone through that video. So now I can ask you that in stack on which location CS will get stored and IP will get stored. That kind of questions will be there.
યસ સર.
So no need to solve your question bank. Just clear your concept and you can answer anything, right? So આમાં પછી ગોખવાનું કોઈ આવે જ નહીં. CSIP ગમે ત્યાં સ્ટોર થઈ શકે. તમને ખાલી ખબર હોવી જોઈએ ક્યાં થાય.
હા સર.
Right? So we'll having a quiz. So what we'll do is instead of giving you question bank, we'll take lots of quiz. So your concept will get automatically clear. So we'll try to take one more quiz for our next last 2 to 3 lectures. So again you can summarize your concepts. Fine?
યસ સર.
And again, for all of yours sake of information, don't focus on marks. Focus on skills and knowledge that you are getting, right? Make your concepts clear and you can get full marks in any quiz. And we'll try to consider only the quiz with maximum marks only, so it will not create much issue. Fine?
યસ સર.
Yes, sir.
So major